Hello users, and welcome to Rockman, or should I say Mega Man X4. And this is going to be the all cutscenes version. And I'm playing on Mega Man X Legacy Collection. So we're not going to have any weird fascistic cutscene in the intro stage here, apologies. But I'm not whipping out my PS1 for this. Yeah. So I'm gonna drink some coffee here, just, you know, for a few seconds. Hopefully you don't click off. I know we're still in the first 30 seconds, so a lot of people aren't committed yet, but I want to take a sip, so give me a sec. Thank you very much for allotting me that time investment. So Mega Man X4. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this into two parts like I did with 8, mostly just because I don't know how long the cutscenes are going to be. I do know that the cutscenes in this game are long, but I don't know how long they are. But this is going to be recorded in one session and uploaded in 2, so yeah. I might do the same with later runs, I'm not sure. I'm tempted to watch, or at least I'm tempted to do X7 cutscenes. I really am. I'm tempted. So if you'd like to see X7, feel free to let me know that now. Or if you don't want to see X7 cutscenes, you know, just give me your opinion. But yeah, so Mega Man X4 for the PlayStation 1. Of course, again, this is the Rock X block, the 5th. There's a lot to say about this game. So I forgot that when I normally play this, I have Joy to key open. So let me go ahead and open that up. But there's a lot to say about this game. It's the first Mega Man X game on PS1. Giga Attack L, and then that. Okay. There's a lot to say, though. Let me repeat myself for the 15th time. It's the first game on PS1, and with that in mind, the graphics are a huge aspect to discuss in this game. So I want to take a moment to talk about the graphics, especially during the intro stage, because I just feel like the actual, like, okay, I just want to say this before we start. The intro stage is phenomenal. Also, I'm going to be playing as Zero. If I ever do this again, if I do like a Rock X block number 6, I'll probably do Mega Man X for that one. But we're going to be playing as Zero, mostly because Zero's funnier. And first of all, I just want to say how badass these fucking images are. Like, again, like, just the graphical. The thing about this game is that it's super flashy. It's just so over-the-top flashy, and I love it for that reason. So let's just, I'm gonna try not to talk during the cutscenes as much.
Who are you?
Who are you?
But who are you?
Who are you?
He is my nemesis. Our rivalry is what gives me motivation in life. Now go, destroy him. That's an order.
But wait.
If you haven't, I recommend going to watch Mega Man 8 all cutscenes in the Rock Block 14 that I did a few weeks ago. Because these were made during the same development cycle, and they're made with the same kind of team.
Emergency, all Maverick hunters on call should assemble immediately.
The same dream again.
All Maverick hunters on call should assemble immediately.
I fucking, can skip that scrolling. Alright, I'll skip the text. One thing about this game in text is to skip text, you have to mash the fuck out of the controller. I'll explain a little bit more later. But yeah, so this is X4's intro stage, and like I said, one of the key things with this game is that it's super flashy. So you got the boss in the background, you have the searchlights, you've got the destroyed buildings, you got the really good-ass music, you got the Capcom Tower. Just everything about the presentation for this intro stage I find phenomenal. Now, I'm a very harsh critic of Mega Man X4. If you've watched me play this game before, you'll know that. It's definitely not my favorite in the series. This is Magma Dragoon, who's a Maverick that we fight later, which I really do like how you get to talk to him in the intro stage. It just makes the story feel a lot more, you know, interconnected. I do love that aspect. But yeah, I'm a harsh critic of this game. I feel like there's a lot of things in this game that are just so almost really good, and it really pisses me off. And I'll get to those as we get there. But yeah, I love the intro stage. It is just, the music, again, the explosions, like, if you play this game on Saturn, there's actually a bonus effect, where, like, the entire fucking level is a rippling of heat, but this is not the Saturn version. I'm surprised that they didn't add in some of the Saturn stuff for the X Legacy collections, or the Mega Man Legacy collection, because Mega Man 8 has a cool Saturn port, but maybe I'll play them eventually. Probably not anytime soon. But yeah, so here we have the first boss. One thing I've already shown you, but I forgot to talk about, is SDC, which is Saber Dash Cancel. That's going to be the main form of attack with Zero. You just stand next to the boss and do the SDC combination. If you've seen my Mega Man X6 run from Sunday Run Day a few weeks ago, I explained that a little bit more in depth, but I'll explain it a little bit here. Basically, you've got the Saber with Zero. First of all, I just want to say, like, again, from X3 to X4, this is an... oh, shit. Fuck. God damn it. Alright, I'm literally going to reset. I'm sorry, my habits took over for me. I'm sorry. Oh man, I fucked up. Are my options the same? Right, hold the phone. I made an oopsie. Okay. So yeah, this is Mega Man X4. I'll skip the first cutscene though. And I forgot there's a cutscene there. Again, I'm sorry. But basically SDC, as you'll see again here, is there are 3 slashes in the Saber combo. And for it to be effective on the bosses, they thought, oh, well, if the first one inflicts iframes, how are the second and third going to be useful at all? And basically, whenever you do the Saber combo, if you dash, it resets the combo. And so you can just do it over and over again. Unless you're right next to a wall, because then you can't actually dash. That's a little pathetic, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, let's just, since I'm playing X4's intro stage twice, let's just again talk about how great it is. The explosions, just, I really love the intro stage of this game. It may be one of the best intro stages in the entire series. If I were to like, okay, let me analyze this. X1 is really good. X2's is probably the most boring. X3's is really good, mostly because it showcases the zeros in the game, and that's really cool, and I love how that works. And like the way that they co-op, and again, if you've seen the X3 run, there's so much about X3 that I just wish were better as well. Like with this game. In this game, you play both of them in separate entire campaigns. So like I said, maybe I'll do X with all cutscenes next time. But still. But yeah, so X4's intro stage, flashy, again, especially from X3 to X4 with the graphical improvements of the new generation of console hardware is incredible. X5's intro stage is good, but it's a little lackluster. X6's is really fucking good, only because the music is incredible, and it gives you just such an atmosphere of, like, pain and suffering, which is, like, the motif of that game. It's a beautiful intro stage. X7's is definitely up there, just because it's hilarious. God, X7's is so good. X8's is really good, only because the music is good as well. The actual intro stage in X8's a little annoying. But the music is fucking phenomenal. Anyway, so, sorry for that. This is the Colonel, who's one of the main antagonists in this game. Essentially, the game is based around a military force called the Repliforce, which gets controlled by Sigma, and you learn about that here. So I'm gonna not skip the cutscene this time.
Brave soldiers of Repliforce, we have all been wrongfully judged as mavericks by the humans. We cannot suffer this indignity and live in disgrace. We will build our own nation of Reploids. But remember, this is neither about insurrection nor rebellion against our human creators. This is about our liberty and security. We must battle for our own individual rights and our own survival. Together we will build our nation, a sanctuary for all Reploids, our own utopia. Let us forge onward towards a new golden era for the Repliforce.
I too share the general sentiment. Take heed, we have no other choice. Let us fight valiantly, with courage and pride, without fear, for we are the Repliforce.
The most
The voice
powerful
actors.
army in history!
So like I said before, the intro cutscene has an edit where the Repliforce does something kind of fascistic. They cut it out of the X4 re-release, which I find pretty funny.
Hunters, what will you do? I'll be watching closely from here on out.
And that's Sigma. God, this game's cutscenes, dude. Oh, they're so good. So you have Iris, who just shows up. Basically, she's like Zero's side bitch, essentially. And she kind of cries and whines. I think she's related to the Colonel as well, something like that. But yeah, here are the 8 Mavericks. First up, we're going to do Jet Stingray, which is probably one of the coolest stages, albeit maybe one of the most difficult ones. I just want to say these screens, if you were to compare them to everything else, they're great. He destroyed the city and escaped to the sea. I love the miniature story that they add to them. Really flashy, again, super awesome. So this is the rider section where we're riding. Yeah, it's cool. A lot of people die here a lot. A lot of people also have traumatic events with the Mega Man X5 version of this, which we'll get to. Actually, I'm considering playing X5 any percent, I'm not sure. I definitely want to do X6 any percent for this marathon, but I'm considering doing X5 any percent as well. Not sure. But we'll get to that later. So I took this a little... I was about to say that I took a little safe, but then yeah, ideally you want to do the dash as much as possible, but I didn't really remember the layout that much, so I tried not to. And that just kind of fucked up at the end, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. That was a little close. You can get like stuck in the ceiling sometimes. If you dash while on the ground, it's a lot less effective than if you do the air dash. It happened again? Are you kidding? Is that a joke? I feel like I'm being pranked right now. One thing is you can mash. There's 2 buttons. You've got the Zero Buster as one button, and then you've got the Saber as another. So you can just mash both of them, and then you have like Turbo Fire for the bike. Oh. Alright, well I was just getting my lives back. Obviously, clearly I died the first time, and I was like, well, I want to play the whole game with a 2 on my life bar, so I might as well just die 2 more times just to get that back. I'm also just showcasing all the theoretical areas that you could die, just so that you know what to look out for. This is a detailed... This is a detailed experience. You know, I want this to be very close to home. I want people to feel like they're playing the game. That's the real thing. Is I want this to be more of like you know, we're doing the couch co-op. You know, like every time I die, I pass the controller to you, and then you die, and you know, I'm trying to make this a fun and enjoyable experience. I'm trying to pad out the run length. You know, make it more obnoxiously long. Gotta figure that out. Alright, but for real this time. There we go. That's what I'm supposed to dash. Okay, so that part's really cool. Again, I love the explosions and everything. I think every level has 2 sections. Kind of like Mega Man 8. dividing, like, it makes the level seem longer as well, which is pretty neat. We have Jet Stingray, which I really enjoy this, that he, like, kind of just chases along as you're approaching the boss. I think that might be the only time that a boss is actually really noticeably there outside of the actual boss chamber, and it is really cool. Definitely really awesome. Again, my huge thing with X4 is I love the style of it. It's stylized in an incredible way. Also, I missed the sub-tank, but I don't need that because I'm a speedrunner. We'll just get the other one. Even though that's the best one to get because it's on an auto-scroller, but that's not important right now. I'll just get the next one. Alright. So yeah, and then Jet Stingray is like, hey bud. Hi! So we just attack this guy. Wait for him to dive into the water. Which he does whenever he feels like it. Oh god. Alright, come on, bud. He should at this point. Damn. That fucking one that got me. Cocksucker. Dang. 349. Well, most of that was the cutscene. That's the thing. It's like, you know, the splits don't matter because it's like I watched the cutscene, so clearly 3.5 minutes of cutscenes, 19 seconds of mistakes, you know? Not too bad when you really think about it. Hinkaku! Yes, that is a word in English, before you ask questions. Alright, who's next? Magma Dragoon, the guy from the intro stage. He betrayed the irregular hunters and hid himself inside a volcano. What the hell are the irregular hunters? Do they hunt irregulars? Or are they irregular? Again, the stage and like the music in this game is all relatively good. It's super samey. It's like kind of like it gets a little bit grating in some of the levels in my opinion, but the music's very good for some of these levels and it feels really nice, like the fire going around and the electronic music in the background. It is like, again, this game is mostly, in my opinion, a visual piece. It is. I would even go as far as to say it's an artistic masterpiece, like, especially compared to X4 or X3. I mean, X5 and X6 are less about the art and like the flashiness, and more about like the story and gameplay, I would say. Another thing is that this follows the This follows the X3 or X1, 2, and 3 archetype of like there being a heart tank in every stage, like 2 sub-tanks. Well, actually no, yeah. There's 2 instead of 4 in this one. And then they replaced 2 of the other ones with different kinds of sub-tanks. We have little mech armor here, which is pretty cool. I'm going to utilize it in my fight against Magma Dragoon because I took a lot of damage and I don't want to die, so. One thing I do like about this is the fact that you actually can use the ride armor for the boss fight. I think that's just really cool. Dragoon! It's just cool as hell. Once it starts flashing a lot, then it's gonna break, like that. See ya, buddy. So yeah, whenever he does that attack, basically, he's fair game for SDC. If you were to fight him like a regular person, that is to say someone who's good at the game, you would try to SDC every single time. But, you know, it takes a lot of practice and finesse, especially when you have half a health bar, so. Ruin Gene! You can skip the announcer there if you start mashing the buttons as soon as the screen starts loading. Little fun fact for you. Speaking of fun facts, Frost Walrus has a really cool stage. Again, just going with the theme of flashiness and very coolness. He protects the secret weapon which lies inside this... I can't read that. Then you have Bilzard Buffalo right there from X3. Right at the start. I love it. Absolutely love it. Get that there. Grab an extra life, because, you know, I'm kind of running out of those. One of the best songs in the game, I would say. Really, really good. One thing about this level that's really cool is that both halves of the level have 2 different songs in it, and that's really interesting. I would say this is probably one of the most interesting levels as far as like the actual dynamics. I think that's pretty cool. I like ice levels in general, and I like the snow motif. I think they do it well. Then we have Chill Penguin. Again, really fucking cool. And I don't say that because it's cold. There we go. And the second half. I like this song a little bit more. So the slash combo is pretty cool here. Basically, if you use the second slash, it does a certain amount of attack that can get and penetrate forward. So you can take out 2 blocks at a time. It's very useful. And then also you can use this to destroy them a little bit larger when going upward. Get the weapon tank that's in there, just to showcase. One thing about this game that I really don't like is just how all the upgrades and objects are just in the way. That's my biggest complaint, is the level design in this game. And I'll explain that more a little bit later when we get some more egregious examples. Now, I have necessarily nothing wrong with, like, some obvious forced upgrades in the game to just kind of make it easy for 99% of players. I have no issue with that, but it's almost every single level that has, like, in-your-face, like, upgrades. And again, it gets more egregious as we go on. So here's Frost Walrus taking the mantle of Ice Boss, who is relatively easy. So if you notice, there's lots of lag when you do that. So what you want to do is you want to face this direction so there is less lag. Fun fact. My wires are tangled in my blanket. God, I love Zero's like turnaround thumbs up thing. It's so cool. Coming up next, Cyber Peacock. He lives in cyberspace and wants to destroy the network system. Yo, that sounds epic. The precursor to the Battle Network series right there. So this stage kind of has an interesting theme, but in my opinion it's too easy. That thing starts tracking you, and then it times you based on how fast you can get to the end of the stage, or like end of the section, and then it grades you, and based on that, you will get an upgrade if you get an S. And my problem with that is that it's way too damn easy. Now, of course, I'm a great gamer. That goes without saying, but seriously, this shit is damn easy. Trust me, you've got like 45 seconds to be able to get the actual upgrade here. Though this is one of my favorite stages because I think the movement here is really cool. Like the actual way the stage is designed is really fun. So I fucked that up. I'm supposed to dash under them. Get hit there and go through. That went pretty well. Then you get the sub-tank. I can beat the game with only one sub-tank. I am a professional after all. I love how it says Zero's rushing at the load screen that you can't see because this is a port that came out like 20 years later and thus the load times are inexplicably short. I do like this section, but it gets kind of annoying. I feel like this section is like they came up with the idea and then like the actual execution wasn't that great. You gotta wait there a little bit for the ball to scroll down. Fun level though. Cyber Peacock's one of the most annoying motherfuckers to fight, by the way. One thing about this game that's super interesting is that not all the bosses are SDCable, and then there's also no like super weapon. Like every other X game, like during the boss rush, you theoretically will have a super weapon. X1 you got the Hadouken, X2 you got the Shoryuken, X3 you have the Saber, X4 you've got nothing, X5 you've got the ultimate armor, X6 you've got... I guess X6 technically doesn't have a super weapon either. But Guard Shell, I mean, it's fundamentally you know, it's a super weapon. You just get it a little earlier. God. You want this guy to teleport at the side? Like that? I was about to like wonder if I could even, like if I had to explain this system or if it was going to actually happen. And then you can get a lot more direct hits in. But otherwise you just have to wait for the animations or use the fire attack. Which I forget the name of. Yeah, annoying motherfucker of a boss. Ideally he doesn't do that thing, or he does do that thing super early, and then you just dance around the missiles and take him out. But what are you gonna do? Alright, so now the Colonel, also known as the Colonel, interrupts. If you play as X, you have to fight this guy, but if you play as Zero, you just say like, yo, I'm bagging your sister, like, come on. I think there's, I don't know what their relationship is.
What do you think you're doing? It's not too late. Stop the coup now.
The coup! The coup!
If that's your decision,
I can't. The coup.
prepare yourself.
The coup. This motherfucker just said coup. I didn't know that. I haven't watched these cutscenes since I was a literal child. This motherfucker literally just said coup. Oh my god. This motherfucker just literally said coup.
Brother, please, don't you
Yeah, they're brother?
Zero saved my life.
Zero saved my life.
Very well then. I'll spare your life for now. But next time, there'll be no mercy.
Fucking stop the coup. Oh my god, stop.
Zero, please, don't fight with my brother. If you do, I'm afraid that one of you may end up...
Someone must stop Repliforce.
Zero!
Stop the coup. Just a reminder, on a serious note, that there is a coup going on in Bolivia. In fact, it already went on. If you subscribe to a lot of mainstream media, you probably will be under the impression that it is not a coup, and it instead is a peaceful transition of power. But just a reminder that Evo Morales' term, either way, even if the election was cheated, either way, right, his term doesn't end until December. So just keep in mind, when the military intervenes and destroys everything and tells the leaders to go away, that's probably a coup. So I'm just letting y'all know, giving you a little bit of education here. And of course the United States is backing the coup, because why not? So anyway, back to the game. We have the spiral staircase here, which is really cool. I think maybe my favorite upgrade piece is in this level, and you'll see it when I get there. This part's fun. I love the verticality of some of these levels. The thing about Mega Man X compared to Mega Man is you can go up and down because of the wall kicking system, and I just think that there's a lot of levels that like could use like things like that where you just, you know, go up in a vertical segment, and I do much so enjoy those. So because I've killed Frost Walrus, I've got this attack, which is pretty good. It does damage for every frame. So I can kill that guy. Basically, you're supposed to wait until he pops up and then you can do some damage. Or if you have that attack, you can just do the damage the whole time. So let me go back up the spiral staircase. So this is my favorite upgrade part. I'm not going to get it. But basically, the ceiling crumbles, and then you have to like jump up there and get that heart at the very top. At the very start of that section. Rewind if you missed it. Just hit left on your numpad that goes back 10 seconds. It's really cool. I think that's probably my favorite heart piece in the game, or just upgrade in general. The rest of them are just so goddamn lame. Ow. Also, I'm going to go ahead and end this video after this boss fight is done. And then we're going to do a very smooth transition into tomorrow's upload, which will be the second half of this very same run. And the reason I'm doing that is just because I don't like uploading super long videos. It gives me like, you know, a day's less of quote-unquote work to do. I think more people will watch the content if it's in multiple parts. That's the impression that I get. I could be wrong. If you don't like that, if you prefer me to do longer uploads, I mean, feel free to let me know. That is something I will take that information. But as it stands, hopefully you tune in for tomorrow's app. Also, I'm fucking terrible. You just kind of have to dance around with this guy. Normally, if you're good at this game, you kill him before he does this, the smash down thing. But if you're not good, well, I mean, I don't need to finish that because you know what happens if you're not good. That's already understood. So I will catch you in tomorrow's upload. Hopefully you enjoyed. That was a little early. Thank you, Zara.